Hello my dear students, this is Mrs. Ghada with you. Today we're going to learn the grammar of Unit 7 Part 2. Now let's get started. فيديو النهاردة أنا بشرح فيه الجزء الثاني من جرامر Unit 7 اللي بشرح فيه the past simple tense الماضي البسيط، the present perfect tense المضارع التام، وكمان الفرق ما بينهم، يعني الجملة لو قلتها في زمن منهم بيبقى معناها إيه، ولو قلت نفس الجملة في الزمن التاني بيبقى معناها إيه. وفي نهاية الفيديو بشرح قاعدة used to. واللي ما شافش الجزء الأول من شرح الجرامر يونت 7 هيلاقيه هيظهر آخر الفيديو على الشاشة، لازم تشوفوه عشان تكمل المعلومة عندكم. تعالوا بينا نبدأ شرح the past simple tense. Now the past simple tense. When do we use it? To talk about things that happened and finished in the past. For example, I visited the pyramids yesterday. It means yesterday I was in the pyramids but now I am not. احنا غالبا بنستخدم مع الماضي البسيط كلمات بتعبر عن الزمن الماضي وبتعبر عن يعني التايم. احنا عندنا هنا كمان الكلمات اللي بتعبر عن زمن الماضي yesterday, last، ممكن تكون last week, last year, last month, last Friday and so on. ago بتعبر عن الساعات اللي فاتت أو الأيام اللي فاتت، بنقول مثلا 5 minutes ago, 2 years ago، يعني منذ ساعتين، منذ شهرين، منذ سنة، سنتين، وهكذا. في كمان in the past، وبرضو من ضمن استخدامات ال past simple tense لما بنيجي نحكي حدوتة ودايما بنبدأ بنقول once or one day. كل دي الكلمات اللي بتعبر عن ال past simple tense. طيب how do we use it? The formation إزاي بنكونه؟ We use the second form of the verb. We add d, ed or ied to the basic form of a verb. For example, play is the basic form. We add ed, it becomes played. Work, worked. But when the verb ends with e, we add only d. For example, live. It ends with e, so we add only d. It becomes lived. يعني بنضيف للفعل في الانفينيتيف أو أصل الفعل بنضيف له d أو ed أو ied. الأصل احنا بنزود ed زي play بتبقى played، أما بنضيف d لما بيكون الفعل بينتهي بحرف e already فبنضيف له d بس، زي live بنضيف له d بس بتبقى lived. And we add ied to the verb ends with y preceded by a consonant. We cancel y and put ied instead. يعني لما الفعل بينتهي ب y وقبل ال y بيبقى فيه حرف consonant، حرف ساكن يعني، وانا قلت قبل كده consonant يعني ايه؟ بنحذف ال y وبنحط بدالها ied. For example, the verb study. It ends in y as you see, preceded by the letter d, و d is a consonant. So we cancel y and put ied instead, so it becomes studied, ied. This was about the regular verbs. في حاجة تانية اسمها irregular verbs. دي الverbs اللي هي لا تتبع القاعدة. They don't follow the rule. طيب بنحولهم للpast form ازاي؟ The whole verb changes and we study it and keep it as it is. الفعل كله بيتغير واحنا بنحفظه زي ما هو. Example, eat becomes ate, see becomes so. The negative form, we use didn't plus the verb in the infinitive form. For example, I didn't visit my grandma last Friday. The question form, it starts with did. Did you visit your grandma last Friday? Did you visit your grandma last Friday? The answer is yes I did or no I didn't. The WH question, when did you visit your grandma? The answer is I visited my grandma last Friday. Now the present perfect. المضارع التام من اسمه مضارع يبقى متعلق بحاجة في الحاضر دلوقتي، وتام يعني خلص. طبعا ده يعني it is more complicated، يعني معقدة شوية. يعني ازاي هو فعل بيعبر عن حاجة في الوقت الحاضر وفي نفس الوقت بيعبر عن حاجة خلصت وتمت، عشان بنقول تام. ده اللي أنا هشرحه دلوقتي، وهتفهموه أكتر كمان بعد ما أشرح لكم الفرق ما بين المضارع التام والماضي البسيط. We use the present perfect tense to talk about things that started in the past and have just finished now or haven't finished yet. يعني بنستخدمه لما نكون عاوزين نتكلم عن موقف بدأ in the past في الماضي ولسه خلصان دلوقتي أو لم ينتهي بعد. For example, I have just eaten an apple. معنى الجملة دي إن أنا كنت باكل تفاحة ولسه مخلصاها دلوقتي حالا. Also, we use the present perfect tense to talk about things that happened and finished in the past, but the results of them are now. يعني بنستخدمه برضو لما بيكون حاجة حصلت في الماضي لكن ليها أثر دلوقتي أو نتيجة دلوقتي. For example, I have lost my keys. معناها إن أنا ضاع مني المفاتيح بتاعتي في الماضي، ضاعت وخلاص خلصت، لكن النتيجة دلوقتي إن أنا مش معايا المفاتيح. يعني الحدث حصل في الماضي لكن الأثر بتاعه موجود في الوقت الحاضر. Now the formation. It consists of has or have plus the verb in the third form, which is the past participle form. For example, I have traveled to Aswan for a long time. I have traveled to Aswan for a long time. When we use the present perfect tense, we don't mention the time, but we use some adverbs to determine the period of the situation, like for example, just, for, since, yet, ever, never, already, and so on. Never and ever. We use never in affirmative sentences. For example, I have never seen the pyramids. I have never seen the pyramids. We use the adverb ever in the questions. For example, have you ever seen the pyramids? Have you ever seen the pyramids? Now the negative form. It consists of hasn't or haven't plus the PP or the verb in the third form. For example, I haven't seen Ahmed. I haven't seen Ahmed since last Friday. Now the question form. It is very easy. We only exchange between the subject and the have or has. For example, have you ever visited Sinai? Have you ever visited Sinai? The answer is yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Now the WH question. The formation is the question word plus have or has plus the subject, I, he, she, it, you, we, they, then the verb in the past participle. For example, how long have you been in Cairo? How long have you been in Cairo? Now, what is the difference between the past simple tense and the present perfect tense? ايه الفرق ما بين زمن الماضي البسيط وزمن المضارع التام؟ Number one, في ال past simple tense we mention the time. بنقول الوقت. For example, I visited the pyramids last year. I mentioned last year. This is the time. Or yesterday and so on. But in the present perfect tense, we don't mention the time. We can use the adverbs only. For example, I have just visited the pyramids. Now, what is the difference between these two sentences? Number one, he lost his key. This sentence is in the past simple tense. And the second tense is he has lost his key. This is in the present perfect tense. What is the difference between these two sentences? ايه الفرق ما بين الجملتين دول اللي هي he lost his key دي في الماضي البسيط، والجملة التانية he has lost his key ودي في زمن المضارع التام. الاختلاف هو ان في الجملة الاولى اللي هي في past simple tense we don't know if he found the key or not. We only know that he has lost his key, but now we don't know if he has the key or not because the past simple tense tells us about the past only. But the second sentence, which is in the present perfect, he has lost his key, means that he doesn't have the key now because the present perfect tells us something about now. يعني الجملة الأولى اللي هي في past simple tense في الماضي البسيط، عشان الماضي البسيط بيعبر عن الماضي فقط وملوش دعوة بالحاضر خالص، فإحنا عرفنا من الجملة إن المفاتيح أو المفتاح ضاع، لكن ما نعرفش إذا كان المفتاح معاه دلوقتي ولا لأ. أما في الجملة التانية اللي هي في المضارع التام he has lost his key، نفهم منها إن هو حاليا مش معاه المفتاح. هو فعلا فقده في الماضي بس هو حاليا مش معاه المفتاح. ليه؟ لأن ال present perfect بيعبر عن حاجة حصلت في الماضي لكن ليها أثر باقي في الحاضر أو ليها نتيجة في الحاضر. Now the rule of used to اعتاد أن it refers to something that happened regularly in the past but no longer happens. يعني بيعبر عن حاجة كانت بتحصل في الماضي في وقت من الزمن لكن دلوقتي ما بقتش بتحصل. For example, I used to work. It means I was working for a period of time in the past, but now I no longer work. معناها اني كنت معتاد اني اعمل في الماضي في وقت من الزمن لكن دلوقتي انا لا اعمل. This was about the usage. Now the formation. ازاي بنكون الجملة؟ used to plus the verb in the infinitive form. بنستخدم used to زائد الفعل في المصدر. For example, my father used to play football when he was young. My father used to play football when he was young. The negative form. Didn't plus use to plus the verb in the infinitive form. For example, my father didn't used to play football when he was young. My father didn't used to play football when he was young. Interrogative. Yes, no question form. Did plus the subject. اللي هو he, she, it, I, you, they plus used to plus the verb in the infinitive form. For example, did you used to go to work by car? Did you used to go to work by car? The answer is yes I did or no I didn't. The WH question form. The same form as yes no question but we add the question word in the beginning of the question. For example, what did you used to do when you were a child? What did you used to do when you were a child? ما تنسوش تشوفوا شرح جرامر يونت 7 الجزء الأول اللي هيظهر على الشاشة دلوقتي. Now I have finished the video. I hope you all benefited from the lesson. Goodbye.